This was not something that was stressed to me at all in the first few years of dent repair. If we're being really honest with ourselves, we have more interaction with this paint than detailers do. So how much more of an obligation do we have to be that much more professional? Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dean with Legacy Dent Company. Today, we are gonna be discussing the difference between the rags that we use for detailing versus the rags that we use for paintless dent repair, or at least the rags that I see a lot of technicians using. Now, early on in my detail career, I discovered that the rags I was being introduced to were way different than the rags that I was already using for dent repair. Now, the rags that I was usually buying for dent repair came from the big box stores like Walmart, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Sam's Club, or my local paint shop where they sell the Kirkland towels that you can get at Costco. But it was in studying detailing that I discovered that a lot of these off-the-shelf big box store rags usually had an 80-20 polyester mix. Now, it's this higher polyester mix that contributes to introducing a lot of the swirling and the scratching in the clear coat. Now, to compound that problem, what I was doing was taking my pile of soiled towels every week, bringing them home, and then I was washing them on the wrong cycle with the wrong chemicals, and then even worse, I would put them in the dryer. And when you introduce heat to polyester, which is plastic, you would melt those fibers. When they harden and dry, now you've just got high content polyester rags that are micro melted down the little fibers, so they are even more rough on the clear coat. Now, to be fair, when I first started doing dent repair, nobody was talking about make sure you're using quality rags. And also, I was only doing a few dents at a time and light hail damage, so I wasn't really on a panel long enough to really cause any visible damage. But as I got better with dent repair and I was entrusted with heavier hit panels and I started to spend more time on a panel, especially darker colored paints, and I'm having to hammer down and wipe down alcohol in between every glue pull, or I'm having to wipe down polishes and compounds and even our own sweat and oils from our body as we're working on a panel. Everything requires you constantly to be wiping on these panels. And so as I got more and more into dent repair, I started noticing the effect that I was having on these panels. So when I would finish a car, and it wouldn't even matter if I just knocked it out of the park and fixed this car that was totally beat, when I would wash it up and take it outside, it would just bother me to see how the sun would reflect on these panels. Now, a bad rag is gonna be exactly the same effect as if you were to drive through your local car wash and they just had dirty brushes. It's gonna scratch it all up. You're gonna have all of that swirling, scratching, holograms, and spiderweb effect. So I would pull the vehicle back in and I'd spend half a day polishing the vehicle to make sure I had a presentable job, something that I could be proud of to blow the customer away. Now, fortunately, it was right around this time that I started to naturally have a desire to want to separate myself from my competition and not just clean the vehicles up at the end of the repair, but I really wanted to make the inside and outside of the vehicles look really nice to really impress the customers so that they could enjoy their newly repaired exterior of their vehicle, also getting in their ride and enjoy it. And a lot of times I was getting responses of, wow, my vehicle didn't even look this good when I picked it up. And that encouraged me to really go in hard on the detailing side. And thank goodness I did, because then I started to discover the assortment of towels that were available to me for just the detailing side. But I also started to notice a direct correlation of me using those towels during my dent repair instead of my older dent repair towels. And I noticed a huge difference in me not scratching up the panels as much, having cleaner repairs, and shaving a lot of time off of the repair process. And at the end of the repair, if I wanted to polish just to make it look nice, I would do so, but it now was not a necessity. So I cleaned off all of my shelves and got rid of my old towels and started filling my shelves with Rag Company, Clean, Auto Fiber rags, just really nice quality rags that were going to really step up my game, not just on the detailing side, but on the dent repair side as well. Now the takeaway from this, ladies and gentlemen, young technicians that are coming into the game, guys and gals or current techs, please let me encourage you. This was not something that was stressed to me at all in the first few years of dent repair. Never talked about the quality of the rags. It was always about the tools and the glue and the knockdown, the hammer and the lights. How good are those? But never talking about the rag. And the rag is the most important contact on this paint throughout this process. And if we're being really honest with ourselves, we have more interaction with this paint than detailers do. So how much more of an obligation do we have to be that much more professional, to step our game up and use proper rags and proper chemicals? We have to be known for caring for the paint just as much, if not more, than a detailer does. Now, we get all the glory for being able to restore panels and maintaining the original paint, but I just didn't feel like we were actually really maintaining the original paint with the type of interaction that I was having on that clear coat. Now, as an added bonus, when the vehicle first gets to the shop, it's not just the rag that's important to wipe the vehicle, but the chemicals you use. Please pick up some of this Optimum No Rinse. The emulsifiers and the technology of Optimum No Rinse, when you spray it onto the panel, when the vehicle first gets to you and you got that light layer of dirt and debris, spraying on some Optimum No Rinse, the emulsifiers envelop and lift the dirt and debris up off of the panel. So when you use a great rag and the Optimum No Rinse and you wipe those panels, you're gonna get clean panels and you're not gonna be introducing any scratching or marring. Now, if you don't use proper chemicals, if you don't lift up that dirt and debris when you wipe it, technically, when you wipe that dirt and debris, it's just acting as an abrasive between the rag and the clear coat. You're rubbing it into the clear coat and scratching it instead of lifting up off of the paint. And you know what? This is how detailers look at paint. When they're doing paint corrections and ceramic coating, they're thinking about being as gentle to this clear coat as possible. We should be too, as dent guys and gals. So pick up some rags, pick up some Optimum No Rinse. I'm gonna be putting the links in the description box below with some dilution ratios to kind of help guide you on how you can use this. This is a very versatile product. This one product turns into a clay lube, a quick detailer, a rinseless wash, glass cleaner. Like, there's all kinds of uses for this. Instead of having multiple bottles of different chemicals, really, if you wanted to simplify it, you could use Optimum No Rinse for a lot. And there's a lot of great content online for Optimum No Rinse, but these are kind of my go-to when I'm doing just the dent repair side, is a nice creature rag, some Optimum No Rinse, and that's totally different from my detailing side where I have a whole bunch of other dedicated towels to every step of the process and chemicals for every step of the process. But for just you dent guys and gals, these are two great products that I think you should add to your arsenal, do some homework on. If you do like this content, please go down into the description box below, use those links to purchase these products to help support the channel. I'll continue to bring you more content just like this. Now work hard and go be great.
It was always me versus me, it was never me versus you. Misunderstood, get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes. It's understood. It was always me versus me, it was never me versus you. And now I'm good. Wake up and I do my part, wake up and I do my job just how I should. It was always me versus me.